Hello guys, CeeChronicles here, back again with another fragrance review video. If you're new here, I post fragrance related content, guys, and I would very much appreciate it if you did consider joining us here by subscribing. And to those who are returning, thank you so much for the continued support. I appreciate you as always. Now, welcome to a 6-in-1 Lattafa Pride collection from their second series. The second series is this one, guys. So Lattafa had a first Lattafa Pride collection in case you are new to the Lattafa fragrances, and this is a follow-up to the very first collection, which actually did pretty well, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just show you the fragrances I'm going to feature here. We have MASA, all right, and I was so happy, guys, to get the little minis, and I like the work that Lattafa has done here compared to this. This is a far cry from what they did here. They did put an effort on the second collection, presenting it in a decent way. Okay, so the second one is going to be Affection. I'm going to tell you about these fragrances. Don't worry, I'm just showing you what we have to talk about for those who want to know what to look forward to. And then we have a Breeze, and then we have a Vintage Radio, Raw Human, as well as Ajwaa. Okay, so I'm going to do the 6 in this one video to help you make a decision as to, you know, which one is doing what, and also maybe to help you if you're one of those people that go by my nose. So the first one we're going to feature is MASA, guys, and the little minis this time come in a slide out box like this. Great presentation there. Then you have a little 20ml mini sitting in there. This is the little bottle, and all of them are going to look like this, but they have, you know, the name inscripted there in ink, you know, as opposed to the little paper sticker that they put last time. So I'm going to spray it in here, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts. We're not worrying about the atomizer, guys, because these are minis. Now, what do I think of MASA? Expect some saffron, lemon, pink pepper, and mango at the top. And then the mid list osmanthus, violet leaf, orange flower, and ginger. And then the base of this is everlasting flower, okay, ember, mineral accord, patchouli, and suede. So this fragrance, guys, to my nose comes across as a very busy fragrance, not in the sense that it is loud. It is a fragrance that has got a lot going on, and just based off the note pyramid, I was expecting a lot of twists and turns, but to my surprise, it becomes a kind of like a one-trick pony where what you smell in the beginning, you know, carries through all through the end without anything prominent sticking out there. What I mean by this is there is a mango listed in this fragrance, guys, but I cannot call this one a mango forward fragrance or a fruity, if you will. And there is also some ginger listed in here, which made me think that this is going to be maybe on the fizzy side. I do not get a fizzy kind of, you know, sparkly presentation of a juice there. In fact, the ginger to my nose is mute. What it turns out to be is a fragrance that has like a leathery saffron going on in there, and the juice in itself coming across as a lot oily. That is what my nose was able to get. I sprayed this one on my arm as well as on my clothes. It is not a fragrance that wowed me. And if you look at the bottle there, it's one that was very tempting, you know, to just throw into the cart and buy based off you know, just looks. But the juice is underwhelming to my nose. It is unisex in nature. Everything here, guys, is very quiet in a way. What you're going to get mostly is just a leathery saffron there, and a mineral accord which kind of sticks out and gives this one like a saliva note kind of turn to it. At least that is what I perceive. It comes across as possibly a standalone for now, because I cannot even liken it to anything, guys. The lasting power as well was not very impressive to me. But anyway, we move. So let me show you the second one that I have to talk about here. So let's throw in Affection on our number 2, guys. So same principle when it comes to the packaging there. Slide out box, and you're going to get the little mini inside there, okay? How you distinguish which is which after you open it is they have printed the names there. So I'm going to spray Affection in its box and then give you my thoughts, right? So this is Affection. The notes that I'm talking about about, guys, are coming off this pamphlet. Okay, so Lattafa has got the pamphlet, but you only get the pamphlet if you buy a full size. I'm going to show you the packaging for the full size before we leave. The notes to expect in here, guys, are pistachio, hazelnut, cassis, bud at the top, and in the mid is lily of the valley, jasmine, raspberry, and it says lactonic. And interesting enough, the base also says lactonic, and then vanilla and tonka bean. So what I guess lactonic means here is the fact that this fragrance is going to have some whipped cream, some ice cream, some marshmallow, some cotton candy, and some cacao, because this fragrance is at par with Kayali's Yum Pistachio Gelato and all those other notes that I did say there, apart from breaking down what I think Lattafa was talking about with regards to lactonic, are identical to those of Yum Pistachio Gelato. So this one was quite easy for me to pin what they were going for, because I do own Yum Pistachio, and this, guys, is, dare I say, a clone, because it is at par, one-on-one at par. I did bring one from Paris Corner a couple of weeks ago that I did say was also in the same vein as Yum Pistachio, but it wasn't scarily close as Affection is by Lattafa. I wore them side by side. If you wore this, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart, guys. So that is what Affection is all about, and I'm going to put it right back in its little box, and then we're going to revisit it before the end of this video. So let us move on to number 3, guys. Let's talk about Breeze. Okay, so this is how the actual bottle for Breeze would look like. I'm going to slide it out, and then I'm going to spray it onto its box, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts. This is the bottle, the little mini for Breeze. Let's give it a quick spray here and a quick sniff. Okay, right, so the notes for Breeze are listed as a bergamot at the top there, incense and cardamom, and the mid of this fragrance lists lily of the valley and cyclamen, and then the base is a musk, sandalwood, as well as cedarwood. What's happening with this fragrance, guys, is the name here is a very befitting to what you're going to smell. This is an airy, light fragrance, right, that is also fresh, a little bit aquatic there. There is the citrus in the lead doing the most. I also get traces of I think black pepper here, but they don't list black pepper, but I do get like a spicy aromatic thing happening there in the background. A summer leaning fragrance, an easy reach, very light fragrance. There's also a little bit of a twist there with a feel of a rich milky sandalwood to expect with this, but not enough to push this one to be classed as a lactonic fragrance. It keeps that summer theme, and what I can say, this one kind of reminds me of, without necessarily being a dupe of this, but sharing almost a similar DNA, is Gypsy Water by Redo, but minus, of course, the use of juniper berry and pine needles, which you're going to get in Gypsy Water. I do have Gypsy Water in my collection. I wore the fragrances side by side just to see what the differences were, and my conclusion was they're not too distant from each other, but not a copy of each other. There's also the list of incense. Okay, there's the list of incense in the notes there. Do not let that deter you. I think what the incense just simply does is add pizzazz to this fragrance without changing the direction which they were going for, which is a light, airy, freshy of a fragrance here. The only reason why I didn't buy it in big size, in as much as my stockist had this in big size, is I was a bit suspicious, hoping that it's going to be in the same vein as Mahajan Silver, which comes in not exactly this white bottle, but it comes in a bottle shaped like this, and I just thought to myself, I hope Lattafa didn't pull a fast one, so I would rather buy a tester than buy a full size. But if you're concerned about that, no, this fragrance doesn't feel like Mahashan Silver, which is in the same vein as Creed Silver Mountain Water. It doesn't feel like that. So yeah, that is what I can say, guys, about our number 3, which is Breeze. So let us move over to Radio. So Vintage Radio comes in this bottle, guys, the same bottle as Breeze, but they have gone ahead to throw some old Radio there, of course, in line with the Vinti theme. So this is one that I was definitely not going to pull a trigger on at all. I was going to hunt this fragrance down and smell it because I didn't know what Lattafa was going for. You know, it says nothing to me by saying vintage radio, okay? So I was so glad to find a mini of it as well. Let me give it a quick spray just like I did with the rest of them and then tell you my thoughts, guys. Now, this of the whole lot is a simple wow. This lists notes of lavender, sage, bergamot, Palo Santo. It also lists some plum, black pepper, sandalwood, and amberwood. That is what to expect, you know, in the note pyramid for vintage radio. But guys, expect a soothing, sweet, smooth fragrance there with hints of a rich, milky sandalwood. Also expect an aromaticness, guys, with this fragrance coming off, of course, that lavender and a spicy black pepper. This fragrance, guys, is well made, but what they have done here, they didn't beat about the bush like they did with Affection. The notes listed here are at par with Initials Paragon, so this is going to be a dupe of that, and feels very refined to the nose, but very clever of them to package it like this because you wouldn't have guessed. Yes, guys, this feels a lot like Paragon. So if you love that, you are definitely gonna love vintage radio, one of the unique ones, you know, from the lot. And I'm just gonna put it aside and move on to fragrance number 5 so that we don't make the video so long. So this is a Raw Human, guys, and we have featured a full review of this one. Let me just give it a quick spray and then just recap what this is all about. This is your leathery fragrance with some styrex there. Also expect a fruity feel in this fragrance coming off apricot. The DNA in itself has taken a twist to my nose, feeling a lot like a punched up version of ombre leather, although I also did say that I was getting what I got from what is the name of that one? You know, a leathery, fruity fragrance like Guerlain's Cœur Intense. So that is what you can expect, guys, from this fragrance. Not so outstanding, not what I was expecting, but just to clue you up there in case you missed the old video, this is going to tick the boxes for those who like leathery fragrances. However, it's not a very strong leather like that which we'll get in ombre leather, but of course if you like ombre leather, then this is probably going to do it for you guys. It's called Raw Human, our number 5. Now this one is Ajwaa. This one is the one you're going to find on the first page of the Lattafa Pride collection little pamphlet, right? So this is Ajwaa. This to my nose comes across as possibly a standalone because it's another one that I cannot pin what Lattafa was going for here. However, it's a fragrance that is waxy. It is a fragrance that feels very honeyed there. It gives you a gourmand feel coming from dates. The dates in here interpret exactly as how you would smell them. Not cloying sweet, but very savory. So it is a rich, fruity fragrance, very unique, a perfect balance of a fragrance that if you like Western fragrances and you like Middle Eastern fragrances, it's right there in the middle. If it is inspired by something, I'm obviously going to come and tell you. But for now, I haven't come across what this one is possibly inspired by. Before I conclude, let me show you the packaging for the actual fragrances should you want to buy them in full size. Raw Human comes in this sort of packaging, and then the bottle slides in there. So Lattafa has put in a lot of work when it comes to the packaging. So in conclusion, what are my thoughts from least favorite to the most favorite? Let me say MASA does nothing for me, but it is a unisex fragrance. I don't know whether it's going to macerate to something better, but I don't feel it's a fragrance I'm going to add full size because it really fails to state what it's about. So all I can say is maybe get your nose on this first, test it before you pull the trigger. This is going to be on my number 6 as my least favorite from the lot. The 5th one I'm going to say is not exactly on my favorites list, is going to be Raw Human, simply because It is not leathery enough to my nose. It is not strong enough. It's not fruity enough. It's just an okay scent. Why do I have it in full size? Is because I was not able to get it in a mini, offset. So this, I had to pull the trigger on the full size. It's raw human and it is my number 5. I'm just gonna throw number 4 as affection. The only reason why it's on my number 4, guys, is it is a DNA that I already have in my collection. It is a special DNA, but for me, it's not necessarily going to be dropped in my cart in full size because 20 mils is enough. If you love young pistachio, then they nailed the DNA. So this one is going to be my number 4. The third favorite, guys, is going to be Ajwaa. It's unique enough for me to own, but it's not unique enough for me to say it's my favorite. It's a fragrance that, say for instance, I went into the shop and all of them were there, probably wouldn't have been the first one that I buy, but it's not bad. It's not a fragrance I'm slagging off. I'm just saying it didn't make it to my number 1 spot. So this is going to be on my number 3, guys. My number 2 is going to be Breeze, simply because this is just an easy reach, elegant, softy, freshy, aquatic fragrance. It's a fragrance that performs, I'm going to say, up to 5 hours. Great fragrance, no brainer, perfectly blended there. So number 2 is going to be Breeze. And then the utmost favorite of the lot, I think you know by now, is going to be Vintage Radio. This I've got to get my hands on full size. Performance is right. The composition is right. It smells expensive. It is sophisticated. It's everything, I would have expected, and they've gone on to do more. So this is just one fragrance that completely rubbished the rest of them in terms of what I was expecting. It's a complete wow. So don't let that vintage name that they've thrown in there put you off. It is, I guess, for the sake of, the element of surprise in customers there by Lattafa. But Vintage Radio, guys, Vintage Radio takes the trophy. So that is my number 1. This has good performance as well. So that's it, guys. That is a wrap. When it comes to the Lattafa Pride collection, we haven't exhausted the whole lot. Let me just show you the other ones, right? I said Lattafa is full of surprises. So there's those 2 there. We did not feature them. And now I'm not just going to go on looks, because based on looks, I thought MASA was going to be mind-blowing, guys. So these 2 on the lookout for, I'm hoping to bring here. And then we also have those 2, right? So that is 4 that we haven't brought here, 5 with this one because we have MASA already. So this is going to be our number 5 right there, that I owe you guys. And then number 6 is going to be this one that simply says Lattafa Pride. I haven't gotten my hands on it. It's not yet in stock where I purchase my fragrances. And that will be it. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. CeeChronicles is my name. Do turn on post notifications if you haven't already, and do remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me today, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.